is here to serve you a beautiful dish with a side of sales tips. I'm here with just some guy, and I know that might sound funny, but that is truly how he wanted to be introduced. This is Tyler. Sir, what are we cooking today?
I'm no Nigerian chef by any means, so when I was asked to do this, I kind of panicked. So today we are gonna cook one of my favorite dishes and a very practical dish, egg bites for breakfast. Disclaimer here, I've actually never cooked this before.
Okay.
So my wife cooks these every week, so I think I know how to do it, but this is gonna be my first time,
So this is a learning lesson.
Social media is your highlight reel of your life. Nobody's sharing all their losses on social media. So that's one of the things that I recommend for people. Seek out those who are not just sharing their wins on social media, but they're also sharing their losses. They're more authentic, right? And so a lot of my social media, I'll share when I make mistakes or I have issues or something that didn't work out as planned. I feel like I've always had some level of consistency. My dad was a single father. My parents got divorced. He also was the mom of the house, so he did the laundry, he cooked the meals, and he always had a home-cooked meal every night for dinner before us. So we always ate at the dinner table. So he instilled a lot of those good habits, and consistency came from my dad.
You're the man, bro. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Thanks for sharing all that. AIME is here to serve you a beautiful dish with a side of sales tips. I'm here with just some guy, and I know that might sound funny, but that is truly how he wanted to be introduced. This is Tyler. He goes just way deeper than his title, what he does for a living. He is a human being that is focused on being the best version of himself, and we use those words a lot. Everybody wants to be the best version of themselves, but there's few people that will consistently show up. And this guy doesn't stop. If you follow him on social media, you all know what I'm talking about. Non-stop, year in, year out, he is about consistency and he is about discipline. That word gets thrown around way too easily in our space in real estate. So today, we're cooking up something special. We're gonna talk about consistency, talk about discipline, and learn about some incredible guy. Without further ado, my friend Tyler. Sir, what are we cooking today?
Well, John, members of AIME, I'm no Nigerian chef by any means, so when I was asked to do this, I kind of panicked. My wife, I'm best known for cooking things like toast, pretty much anything that could be microwaved, and ordering pizza. So today we are gonna cook one of my favorite dishes and a very practical dish, egg bites for breakfast. Disclaimer here, I've actually never cooked this before.
Okay.
So my wife cooks these every week, so I think I know how to do it, but this is gonna be my first time,
So this is a learning lesson. And for the egg bite side of thing, we're in this beautiful new home that you just closed on. We're not even fully furnished just yet. So we're getting to cook over here in this beautiful kitchen that we have. So walk us through egg bites. It's the little finger foods. It's the stuff that you're doing throughout the week. Can you tell us just about the consistency with your health, first and foremost? You're in great shape. You're a runner, you do things like the egg bites. I assume you're not eating junk food constantly. What's the importance for you with the health side of things, the things like this, having that in your life?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm trying to perform well in business, I think some people get so focused on, and I'm guilty of it in the past, like just going all out on business, working hours after hours, late nights, early mornings. And what I realized, and what many people realize, if our body's not in prime shape, if we're not physically strong, if we're not mentally strong, then our business is gonna suffer. So I just wanna be at my best and my peak in all ways possible. I try to optimize everything, and a big part of that is starting with health, and nutrition and diet is important. So I love this egg bite recipe because it gives me a good start to my day every day, rather than me stopping at Burger King or eating a Pop-Tart out of the toaster or not eating breakfast at all. Like, this gives me a good, healthy, wholesome start to the day.
So where do we start first with a dish like this?
So yeah, first step, really, we gotta start cracking some eggs. We also need to saute some of our bell peppers and our onions. Do you like bell peppers and onions?
I love bell peppers and onions.
Perfect. Bell peppers and onions, those are gonna go within the egg bites. We've also got some cheese. We've got some cottage cheese for some extra protein boost. So we'll start chopping up the peppers and the onions, and then we're gonna saute those, get those cooking, and then we'll start cracking our eggs. Sound good?
Yes, sir, that's perfect.
All right.
Tyler, as you're going through this, starting to cut these up, if you can just fill me in, were you always this consistent with your health and the habits and the things that you're doing? And then also, if you were always consistent, were you as dialed in as you are today?
I feel like I've always had some level of consistency, and I served in the Marine Corps, 4 years in the Marines. I think that kind of put some of my habits and tendencies on steroids as far as waking up early and routine and discipline. I love when things are, the things that you can control those, so that when the unexpected happens, you can adapt to that more quickly. So I do feel like I've always been a very consistent person, but not in all aspects. Like it's impossible to be consistent in all things at all times, because there's just so many variables in life. So I've focused on like getting better in certain areas over time. And my health, my diet, the things I ate 2 years ago wasn't very good. I was pretty consistent at social media, I was consistent at business, I was consistent at running and fitness, but my diet suffered. And so now, the last 12 to 18 months, getting more focused on eating better, sleeping better, all these areas. So being consistently, it's very difficult.
You posted, it's the Progress app, I think is what the app is. I actually downloaded it because of talking to you. And in the Progress app, you can basically map out the entire year, how many lifts, workouts you want to get in, how many runs you want to get in, what you want to post on social media, things with the family. When did you start doing stuff like that to start your years? Or have you always been that way, or did you start incorporating that stuff later on in life?
Yeah, so at the beginning of 2024, I started tracking some goals actually in an app. It wasn't Progress, it was through Asana, which is my task manager and project manager, for tracking some goals. And I also just had a pen and a paper, like for my fitness, my workouts. I just checked it off on a box, how many days of the week, and all of a sudden I started stacking up all these little X's, and it felt good. I was like, oh, I like this dopamine. So 2024, I started tracking some of those goals and metrics, and then a lot of the phone apps, like they already track a lot of your stuff. Apple tracks your steps. I got the Whoop that tracks my sleep and my exercises. So the more and more apps I got that started tracking things just made me obsess over it even more. But 2025, at the start of this year, is when I got the Progress app, and that was super easy for just picking any metric. It could be sales activities, posts on social media, fitness, dates with your spouse or significant other, just all the things that I want to track that are goals and important to me. If I, what's the quote or the saying? If you measure it, you can manage it.
Yes.
And pretty much if you don't track it, you don't care, is what some other people say.
Well, there's a lot that goes into the tracking piece of it. Now, Tyler is a kid. If we can go back that far, 13-year-old, 12, 13, 14 years old, those big stages of life. Can you walk us through just some of the challenges that version of you used to have?
Yeah, so when I was, growing up, I grew up in apartment complexes. My dad was a single father, my parents got divorced, and my mom lived in Canada. So we grew up here locally in Texas, and it was just me, my brother, and my dad. And so my dad worked full time, but he also was the mom of the house. So he did the laundry, he cooked the meals, and he always had a home cooked meal every night for dinner for us. We always ate at the dinner table. So he instilled a lot of those good habits, and consistency came from my dad. When I think about, I did Amplify obviously, and one of my traits is consistency and discipline, and my dad is somebody who helped instill that in me. But growing up, I wanted to, I used to play sports at the apartment complex. I used to play football and basketball, and I thought I'm going to play in the NFL someday. Clearly. When I was 13, I didn't know. Maybe I was going to be 300 pounds, 6'6". But that didn't work out. But I loved playing sports. I loved competing. I always had a vision for myself, I'm going to be the best at what I do, and I want to accomplish a lot. I just always kind of chase those dreams.
So watching you on social media, you love pouring into other people, and I think you love seeing other people win. I really think that's a part of who you are, just from watching you, right? Just somebody on the outside looking in. Was there ever a point in your life growing up, you're growing up in the apartment complex, things aren't necessarily easy, right, when it comes from the monetary side of things. Mm-hmm. Did you ever put yourself in a position, did you feel like you were comparing ever to other family members or other kids out there that you were looking at and go gosh, that's something I'd love to have? Or have you always had the mindset you have today, which is you got to win, doesn't matter where you're at? None of that stuff really, has that always been there, or have you shifted into that mindset?
Yeah, I would say, I think we've all gone through those points in our lives, where we want what we don't have, what we see other people have, and there's that level of jealousy. So I would definitely say that there were times in my life when I was, desiring things that I saw, material things, right? Like the nice house, a nice car, the people with money, the people who, could go on vacation when they wanted to go on vacation. And I think that's just a natural part of life that people feel that. But, it was always positive motivation. Like it was always, I guess, like positive jealousy, if that's a thing. Like it just motivated me to want to get to those things. I wasn't jealous in the way where I'm like, oh, poor me, I don't have all these things. They're lucky, they're blessed, they're rich, whatever. It was always about me. I'm about to peel the onions. So
You're good.
Get ready to cry.
I'm ready. Always ready.
So it's about a positive motivator. Like if they can do that, I can do that too.
And I'm always curious because, talking to so many of our people that we work with, anybody in the real estate side of things, that's such a natural progression. And so I'm always curious about the childhood side. Did we have it? And then now watching social media, there's a lot of, I'm just going to say it, who cares? A lot of fake influencers out there, right? A lot of people post about how great they are, and the reality is they're not.
Yep.
Right? They're just recruiters, and they kind of go at it from that angle. So there's a lot of falsification. What do you say to somebody new getting into the real estate space, whether it's mortgages, real estate, a builder, it doesn't really matter. What do you tell them about that social media side? And then who do you pick to follow, right? Who do you actually look up to on social media where you're like, that's a person that's executing, they're getting the job done, and you're not focusing on a lot of the commodities and, the little trinkets and the stuff that people are buying?
Yeah, honestly, like this day and age, there's just all you see is people's success stories on social media. And so that social media is your highlight reel of your life. It's nobody's sharing all their losses on social media. But so that's one of the things that I recommend for people is, seek out those who are not just sharing their wins on social media, but they're also sharing their losses. Because you learn a lot more about the people who share their losses, and those are the people you can, they're more authentic, right? And so a lot of my social media, I'll share when I make mistakes or I have issues or something that didn't work out as planned. So that would be one recommendation. The other one would be, don't buy into anything you see once or you see today, or it's like a very short period of time. We're talking about consistency today. So like if I'm following you and I think like, wow, this person's got it going on, I need to do what they're doing, I'm gonna follow you for a very long time before I buy into like, yeah, he's got it going on or she's got it going on. So I'm gonna just like keep watching and watching and watching, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, till all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, you know what? They've been doing this consistently, like they're legit. It takes a while to really get that credibility to, for me to believe that someone's legit. I mean, you, for example, like,
no, thank you.
I knew you on social media for multiple years and just watched and consistently watched. Like, who is this guy? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Like,
yeah.
Like, who is he? What's going on? And, over the years, seeing you be more consistent at what you're doing, you got that evidence and that proof, and, you've always held true to who you were and been genuine. And so I'm like, yeah, he's legit.
I appreciate that. And it's funny, like I don't want to miss this because something you just said gave me goosebumps. He literally just gave everybody a tip on how not to waste money. And some of you might be thinking, but John, I need it done now.
Yep.
I want it done fast. That's amazing. I hope you do that. And then what you're gonna find is in 6 months, you're gonna be so frustrated that you spent thousands of dollars on something that isn't working for you. So when he says things like he'll follow the same person for 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you heard him, he said even 4 years before he decides to spend money with somebody. Are you willing to go through a year of just watching somebody's habits to see if they're the right fit for you and your business? Or are you the type of person that says, but John, I need it done now? Well, sometimes doing things right now, on the fly, at a snap of the fingers, will cost you a significant amount more long term. Everybody tells you what not to do. And I'll tell you this personally as a business owner. Even though everybody tells me what not to do, I'll walk into a situation and I'll still do it. And then I'll say after, I learned my lesson though. I'm glad I went through that. No, I wasn't. Everybody already told me what not to do. The difference was my ego and my pride. You gotta learn to get rid of that. Be patient, be strategic, be dialed in. My bad, you got me fired up on that, all right? Excuse my passion.
Well, we got a problem.
What?
We don't have a frying pan.
Okay.
For these peppers and onions.
But you're a solution-focused man.
So, shout out to my wife. She prepared all this. We're in the middle of the move. Obviously, the movers don't show up till tomorrow. She didn't pack the frying pan. So, we're just gonna have to saute these onions and peppers on the cooktop. We'll use the muffin tin. We're gonna use the muffin tin later for the egg bites, but I think we'll just saute them up in here. Sometimes you don't have all the tools you need. Sometimes you don't have all the ingredients. I hope we have all the ingredients.
Yeah.
You brought the eggs,
Yeah,
right?
we need the ingredients.
We've got the eggs. That's the most important part.
You know what?
But you got to adapt and overcome.
It's funny. Like, you're not even hesitating on this, right? It's just like, we got to figure this out.
Where's my olive oil?
If you can talk a bit,
Here we go.
if you can talk a bit about running into problems, right? Like this. Do you have any framework you can give people on how to assess a situation whenever it pops up? Especially with us, right? It's real estate, Murphy's Law. As we know, you closing on this house, you shared that story a bit and how you handled that. That actually might be a wonderful story for our folks to hear.
Yeah.
So running into problems, how do you handle it and how do you keep your composure? Because even how you posted about it, for many people, especially considering your background and what you've done, that'd have been a really, really big deal. And it was a big deal, but the way you were so professional about it is such a unique way that I think is lost nowadays. How do you deal with situations like this?
Yeah, great question. You know, it really comes down to trying to remove emotion from your decision making, especially in more intense situations where most people will become emotional and they'll have an emotional response. Being able to separate yourself from your emotions and your decisions from your emotions, take a step back, and again, not rushing, right? Taking your time. Don't rush into a decision and just kind of look at it and decide from there, like, what is the best action forward? What's the appropriate action? How do I don't have a frying pan. What's my next best thing? What do I do? Instead of getting emotional and, oh my gosh, we got to go to the store. Like, hold on, pause the film. We're going to go to the store. We're going to be right back and get a frying pan. Like, okay, what can I do to make this work here? Or get mad at my wife. Let's call Kim. Kim, how'd you ruined the whole thing? Like, John's here, everybody's here, and you know the whole thing's ruined because we don't have a frying pan. I can't even cook these things. Like, you want to just order pizza? So, you know, removing the emotion, I think, is just key, critical.
We're gonna probably get a lot of these nuggets here today with him, and I know he's getting that going and ready for you over there. But just one thing about what he said, and he used his wife in this reference, and we'll touch base about her as well and the impact she has on this entire situation. But that initial reaction, right, where he could easily call her and point blame at her, he doesn't do it. It's just back to him. How can he fix it now? The reason this frustrates me, we're in real estate. We have such short-term memories. Real estate agents, loan officers are always in a mindset of, what have you done for me lately? Don't forget, y'all, I'm an LO, right? What have you done for me lately? Yet you forget all the incredible things that somebody might have done for you in your life, but because one moment doesn't go right, you panic and want to point the finger. The best of the best, you just watched it here live, don't do that. They figure it out, they assess, they put a smile on their face, and they embrace the chaos. So, just something to say. Take a step back. This looks fantastic already.
All right.
It's working.
I don't even know how to stir those.
Oh, you're good. Perfect. Here, I'll help with this part. Do you mind?
I
got you.
Stir them a little bit. Don't drop them into the cooktop, though, because my wife will be pissed if the kitchen gets dirty.
We will keep.
I told her I wouldn't get the kitchen. I'm the first one cooking in her kitchen. She's so, jealous of that. Like, ugh.
So if while I'm cooking these up a little bit, your relationship, communication, as I go through my life, my wife and I, lots of more conversations. The busier I get too, especially with three little ones around the house. You have two little ones.
Yep.
How important is communication? Have y'all always been this way? Did you learn to build into it? How important is she to as building this entire empire with the two of you and your family?
Yeah, I mean, it would be impossible for me to do what I do without Kim by my side and everything that she does. Just her support, her ability to take care of things at home. Like I mentioned, this is my first time ever cooking these egg bites.
Yes.
But I eat these egg bites every single morning. That's my fuel to get my day started when I go to the office. If it weren't for Kim, I'd be sitting here cooking these egg bites every day. I probably would forget the frying pan. I would definitely forget the frying pan. By the way, do you like your eggs with a little bit of shell or no shell?
No, a little bit.
A little bit of shell, yeah. I'm not very good at cracking eggs either.
You're good.
I'm not good at cracking jokes either.
No, they're dad jokes.
They're
very good.
They're dad jokes.
For our dads out there.
Cracking eggs, cracking jokes. There you go. The new series. But yeah, I mean, having somebody and, not everybody. When I first started in the mortgage industry, like, I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a family. During that season of my career, it was just hustling and grinding, and it was all about Tyler and just advancing my career. And with that, like, of course, I didn't have, the help at the home, so I was doing the things that I needed to do on a daily basis. Now, with Kim involved, it's just like an extra layer of support and help, and gives me extra purpose and passion, obviously, having the kids. So we make a great team, and like any marriage, like any couple, like we'll have our disagreements or whatever, but at the end of the day, we always focus on what matters most, and that's our family. That's providing for our family. That's our own personal health and the relationship, our health of our relationship. So I'm super thankful that Kim is on this journey with me. Like, she's 100% bought in on the things that I'm doing, and she's a supporting person, right? Like, I think that I'm so driven and so focused on my goals. If I was married to someone else who was had similar goals, it would be difficult because we'd be so separated. But she's 100% supportive of me and helps whatever that thing I want to do. If I'm like, hey, I want to do this, like, she's all for it. Hey, we're gonna cook in our kitchen in our house before we move in. Great, let's do it. Like, you see the support. She brought all the supplies and stuff. So. Having someone who supports you like that is just amazing.
You said something about her that I absolutely loved. And you said, I was single, growing my business. I was running as hard as I could. And then her and I connected, and now she's helped grow that business. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy how you sat there thinking by yourself, I'm going to blow this thing up. And then, without you realizing it, somebody gets added into the life. And now you're building that life together, but in turn, your business starts to explode because of the fact that you're on the same page.
Yeah.
Walk me through the development of a team. You bring on a lot of LOs, loan officers into the organization. What are you looking for when you're building a team? And then my follow-up question to you is, where did you screw up early on when you were bringing people on?
Yeah, I think nowadays, we're looking for people who are, they've got to be a culture fit, right? And I hate saying that because it's kind of cliche.
It's not cliche. What's it mean, though? Explain culture.
Yeah.
It's culture. Listen, culture fits are only cliche if you don't know what your culture means.
Yeah,
please dive into that.
So Josh in our office, he's kind of rebranded the word culture in our office to be more focused on community. That's his favorite C word is community, not culture. And so if they're a culture fit, they're a community fit. Is this someone who I like working next to? Is this someone who would be a friend? Is this someone who I'd welcome in my community? If my livelihood depended on you, would I be willing to bring you into my community, bring you into my home like we are now? And so, that's what we're looking for in people. And just people who are driven and want to improve themselves, people who are personally accountable. Because in this industry, you can't blame anyone else for your lack of success besides yourself. Like, you have to do the actions, you have to do the activities. So the people who are self-accountable, the people who are bought in on being a part of the community, and they're a good fit for the community, that's who we're trying to build our team around. And, in the past, we made mistakes. We just, oh, great. Oh, you're a loan officer? You want to come on board? Like, awesome. And now we're much more focused on who we let in our doors. And that's helped just increase the quality of everybody, and it pushes us all to be better as well.
So no culture killers is the focus.
Yeah.
Now, early on, you said you were making mistakes, obviously. What were some of those mistakes, right? Was it exactly what you said, which is more so just like we'd bring in anybody, lack of interview in the process, lack of focus? Like, where were those mistakes really founded for some of our broker owners out there?
Yeah, so, decisions, or I guess mistakes of the past, at the time they didn't really seem like mistakes, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have made those decisions. But it's also that we change and we evolve over time. So the things that I was looking for, the things that were important 5 years ago or 10 years ago are different than the things that are important today. And so, some of those mistakes were, again, like hiring people that were maybe not necessarily fully bought in or a culture fit, or they were kind of just doing this part-time. And what I've realized now is, like, the mortgage space, you have to be so bought in, you have to be so passionate and focused and devoting 100% of your energy towards it, that when we surrounded ourselves with other people who are kind of wishy-washy and in and out, it degraded all of us. It made us all worse. And so now when we have everybody fully focused and bought in, you're doing better, I'm doing better, he's doing better, everybody's elevated by that combined effort. Even though we're all kind of, playing our own game, like we're all self-sourcing and we're all building our own personal business, but if I'm doing it around other people who are fully focused on that as well, all of a sudden the results are amplified, they're compounded.
It's for those, hopefully you all can hear it in his tone and voice. Like this is who he is inside and out. It's hard for him to focus on anything else. And it's just really cool to hear you, Kim, it's clean in here, okay? We did it. But we also, team, check this out.
Oh, yeah.
It worked perfectly. Just as we thought, right? It's all about staying solution focused, my friends.
Hey,
and,
how much is a cup?
A cup?
Yeah.
I would say like this. If I were to guess, that'd be me.
8 ounces. That's 1 cup, right?
Well, it's liquid ounces or regular ounces.
Well, yeah. I need 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese.
2 cups? This looks like 2 cups.
I think this is 1 cup.
No.
I think 8 ounces.
No, it's a quarter cup's 28 grams.
Oh.
2 cups.
Quarter cup. There's 8. Oh, this is 2 cups.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to have really cheesy if I put in extra.
You're good.
All right. So this is going in. All right. Those peppers and onions. We're gonna put those in. So let's.
So Tyler, while you're doing this part here, I do have a personal question for you. Just tapping into who you are as a human being, and I want you to feel as good as possible about this, and just really from the heart. You talked about your dad and how important his impact he made and what he did, the consistency and what he taught, and he had to play both figures growing up. So, for you, if you're had the ability to go back in time and you got to go see your dad when he was 13 years old, all right? Think about that for a second, 13-year-old, and all of a sudden, you get the chance to play catch with him. And you're the version of you are today. What would you talk about with him, 13-year-old version of your father?
Man. So I know he's my father at this time?
You do know he's your father, yes. You actually know. You can't tell him.
Right.
You can't say you're his son. You just get to play catch with him.
Yeah, I mean, being a father now, it's like, what would I say to? It's almost like he would be my son, and so, my dad actually passed away in 2018. So, just thinking about him and some of the experiences that we missed, that he's missed, or my wedding with Kim and the birth of my daughter and my son and all that. Like, obviously I want to share those things with him. So, but all that's possible. Like this today, me here, and everything I have with my family is possible because of everything that my dad did for me and for my brother and my family. So, I mean, I just think I would just tell him how, just keep doing the things you're doing, like continue to be the example, and the actions that you take are having such a massive impact on the future generations. And if you keep that in mind in every decision, every action you make, you're significantly impacting and helping those who you love and care about. And I just know how much my dad loved me and my brother, and how much he would have loved my daughter and son. So the lesson I would try to teach him, that I think he already knew, maybe he didn't know it at 13, was that every decision you make impacts not only you, but your family and loved ones for future generations, forever,
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy to share, especially with his passing. And it's really cool how much you remember him, I feel like every decision or action you take right now is truly an embodiment of your father, just based off the little things I'm learning about him, and even the consistency and the discipline. And it's like living life to the fullest. I read something, and I'm curious what you think about this saying. It was somebody being interviewed, and they sat down, and the interview asked them, they said, how much of your potential do you want to use? And the guy looked at him and he said, I want to use 100%. He said, okay, hold on. Do you drink? He said, I do drink. He goes, well, then how can you be 100% if you said you just drink? You can't be 100. So of the potential you have available, how much do you want to use? He said, well, 100. He said, well, no, that's impossible. Do you party all the time? He said, well, I'll go out on the weekends. Okay, that's impossible. Do you wake up at the same time every day? No. All right, well, 100% is out of your limits. What does that mean to you when I talk about something like that? The drinking, the habits, the consistency, your children, the future, your wife, the house that you've built, like, what does that mean to you when I say something like that?
Yeah, there's a book that I've read multiple times called Atomic Habits, and it says, every decision you take is a vote towards either what you want or a vote against that. You're either voting for or against the outcome or the goal that you want. I mean, similar to that was literally the advice I would have given my 13-year-old father. Like, every decision you make, just remember that that's a vote that makes an impact on everything else that's going to come from that and the future generations. So all those little things, like, they seem so small in the moment, like, oh, if I have one drink here, or oh, if I stay up late tonight, or I just watch this, binge this on Netflix this weekend because I'm just tired. Like, every single one of those actions is a vote. And is it a vote for the outcomes you want and the goals you want, or is it a vote against that? Yeah, it's just like so important to keep that in mind every time you're making a decision. And I love that analogy. That's the first time I've heard that. Like, yeah, you've got 100%. Okay, well, if you do this, you don't have 100%.
It's impossible.
And I want to give 100% in everything. And we all fall short. Like, I fall short too. It's like, well, if I drink this, if I eat that, I'm a sucker for sweets, right? Like, I want some chocolate. I want, at night after dinner, like, I'm just craving something sweet. I want some chocolates. Like, that's a vote. Is that a vote for better physical fitness, for better health, or is it a vote against that? And unfortunately, we all take votes against ourselves and against our goals. But can I get a little bit better today and make one extra vote yes and one less vote against?
So now, your deep understanding of teams, whether it's your military background, what you've built, what you're continuing to create and build, how do you now work with somebody where you want it more than them? Have you gotten to a place yet where you've learned where sometimes you just kind of have to let that person go? But if not, what do you do to try and help that person overcome their obstacles when you know they have potential, but you want it more than they do?
I feel like that was kind of a leading question. Like, you clearly can't, like, I can't want something more for you than you want it for yourself. I could want that, but it doesn't do me any good. So I have to find out or understand their underlying motivations, right? What's important to them. And if I can learn what's important to them, then I can potentially help motivate them to get those things they want. But I really have to understand, like, who they are, what they want, and why. And that's at a deeper philosophical level, not just, oh yeah, I want to close 3 more loans this month because I want to make more money. Like, okay, but let me understand your personality. Oh man, well, we forgot a very important step.
What?
We didn't spray the pan.
Oh,
that's all right. These 6 are going to stick to the pan. Those 6 are yours.
that's fine. I'll take them. Food, I'm in.
So yeah, you can't want something more than the person wants it for themselves. And you, as a leader, you also have to just kind of accept that and understand that and build systems and processes and teams around that fact. Because as a business owner, nobody's ever going to want it as bad as you want it for yourself and for your business. So you can't expect that. If you have that expectation, you're going to constantly be let down. I no longer have that expectation. So without that expectation, it frees me to just understand, like, you're going to want it a little bit less than I do. I want it this bad, and here's how I'm going to approach the situation. And I can coach and train and try to motivate people, but I know that they'll never want it as bad as I potentially want it.
Do you think there's cues in people that you can see that they do want it? Have you ever picked up on anything like that? I have a couple ideas in my head that I really pay attention to, but is there anything that you ever see in somebody where you're like, that guy or gal is gonna absolutely crush this?
Yeah, I mean, number one, like curiosity. They're always asking questions. Yes. They always want to know more. They always want to do more. Like, they ask why. They're always asking why. It's kind of annoying, right? Like, I was that kid growing up. Like, yeah. Why? Why that? Why that? Well, why is this way? And it's annoying. Even as a leader, we need to recognize that, because I can get frustrated by that. Like, I'm so busy in my day. I'm so busy in my routine. I have a lot to do. And then I've got this new team member who's like, hey, I got this question on this. Hey, I got this question on this. Oh, well, I'm trying to understand this better. I'm like, well, just go do it because I said so, right? Like that's the bad way to approach that situation. Instead, I should commend them for asking those why questions, take the time and give them the answers, and encourage them to continue asking those questions. Because if they're trying to learn and constantly having that curiosity, that's a good sign that they're gonna be, successful in the long term. And then the other piece is just showing up, right? Are they there? Are they putting in the hours? Are they the first one in, the last one out, showing up every day consistently? And it doesn't have to be 100 hours a week. Like it could be whatever their work schedule is, but are they always there and ready to work and like happy about working? If someone has those two things, like that's a very high probability that they're gonna have that success.
And you could teach the rest from there. I actually agree. Like I think that's very spot on. It's an approach that I take with my team, right, as well. Whenever you're trying to really go down that path, is you can just really see it in their eyes a lot of the times. The excitement when they show up to work. Are they doing the plays of the day? Are they super active with everything that we're doing? Are they engaging with the team? That's another big one. Something you do very well, your company actually does a wonderful job of this, is y'all engage with each other on social media like it's going out of style. And the support is unreal, and y'all are across the country, whether it's East Coast, whether it's down here in Texas, whether it's the West Coast, your team is engaging with one another consistently. What does that do to the community, not culture, to the community that you're building? Why is that engagement such a big pillar for your team?
I mean, kind of some of the themes I've already talked about today was just the fact that like the positivity of everyone else around me actually impacts me, and it brings me energy and it brings me value. And it's almost like it's contagious, right? Like they're doing it, he's doing it, I'm doing it, you're seeing it, and all of a sudden you want to be a part of that too. And so you start doing it. So just engaging and encouraging each other, because let's be real, like this business is tough, it's hard. We all have our ups and down days. Honestly, like the loan officer role is just, and any sales role really, is this roller coaster of you go from these extreme highs, extreme lows. I still get it today. Like I'll have I lost a deal, I had something fall through that I thought was supposed to happen, and now all of a sudden I'm like my lowest of lows on that day, and then all of a sudden the next day I get like 3 contracts, a new application, and rates just dropped 0.25%. I'm like, woo, yippee, like I'm so happy. So it's just like knowing that we're all going through these battles and these struggles. There's another quote out there. I'm notorious for like trying to quote quotes but not quoting them properly. I know the quote, but I just don't know it verbatim. So it talks about like you never know the struggles of what someone's going through. So always be kind or be nice or whatever. So whatever that quote is, someone comment what that actual quote is. But keeping that in mind, like someone could be having a bad day, and maybe my one extra comment, or maybe me cheering them on, or them having 10 people all cheering them on social media, maybe that helps lift them out of that funk a little bit longer or a little bit faster. Because the longer you stay down in that funk and in that low moment, the more it hurts you. Like if I'm down on myself, I'm trying to find what is the thing that can get me back up and positive as quickly as possible. Because the longer I stay down here, the more it hurts my business, the more it hurts my family, the more it hurts my relationship, the more it hurts myself physically and mentally. So identifying when you're going into the low or you're feeling down and knowing what things get you out of that as quickly as possible is super important.
Oh, you already put them in?
Yeah, so they're in the oven. We're baking 25 minutes. I got the timer set. I wish I had more muffin tins because we could scoop up some others and get them ready to go. But at this point, we're just waiting for them to cook. There's gonna be 6 that are probably stuck to the pan.
I'll take them.
Those are your 6. I'll take the 6 that are nice and perfect. We're gonna see how they turn out because I kind of just eyeballed some of the ingredients, honestly, while we were talking and chatting. I kind of blacked out for a little bit.
It's the best way to start cooking. I love it. I grew up, my mom taught me Middle Eastern dishes, so what you did was perfect. I kind of watched you develop and roll into it and get super comfortable, so thank you for doing that. So while those are cooking for a couple minutes here, it's 25 minutes to get those going at 350 for those listening into that. Make sure you get the recipe right. I want to talk about victim mentality. And what I really, with you, I feel like you can't even think about being a victim. It's just the vibe I get from you. It's like, I don't even know what that means. I don't know how to complain about stuff. It's just more so when they go figure it out. Yet there's some people out there that they're good people, but they drop the ball consistently and they give you every excuse in the book. And the one thing I tell people is this: if you get into real estate, You're getting into commission sales. So let's not act surprised that you're not starting at $0 every month. So then when they start coming to me and giving the excuses, you know the people, the stomach ache every Friday, the ones that don't want to go to open houses on the weekends, you know exactly the ones I'm talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, things popped up. You have no business. I don't know what popped up. I get every once in a while, but every weekend these trends happen. Where is your head at with situations like that? Do you just avoid it altogether and say, okay, this just isn't going to work out? Or are there instances where you'll try and help that person get out of that mindset?
Yeah, it depends on the trend. So we all tend to have, like, it's natural to have some sort of victim mentality, fat shame, victim mentality shame, because, you know, even, oh man, I got a flat tire this week on the way to work, or, you know, my situation with this house, like, oh, they denied me because of VA loan, like, and all of a sudden in that moment, I start to feel like, oh, I'm the victim, I'm victimized, but the people you're talking about, and we all know them, is like, I can have it's okay to have victim mentality for like about this long. As soon as it's a consistent thing, and you have victim mentality today and tomorrow and the next day and the next week and next month and the month after, I've got like no tolerance for that. I can't do it, because I can't even fathom what it's like, because just, I can have a bad day, I can maybe have a bad moment or a bad hour, but like I wake up the next day and it's behind me, I'm moving on and taking the emotion out of it. So I think what that is a consistent, like long lasting, always this victim mentality. It's just very emotional responses, and I don't do well with those, just because I don't react in that emotional way. So I'm very much like logical and analytical and straight to the point, very factual. So with those people, like, you know, if I identify that someone I'm working with, or a team member, or a business partner, or like anyone, if I start recognizing that they are consistently in this victim mentality, I'm gonna try to find some way to distance myself from that relationship until there is no longer a relationship there, because I just can't afford to be around those people, because it's gonna drag me down. And it's gonna leak over into me through osmosis of your victim mentalityness. Now all of a sudden I'm gonna start feeling those things. So just trying to avoid those people and distance myself as much as possible. Not that I hate them, not that they're bad people. You know, I've got good friends or you know, people I get along with who have a victim mentality, but I can't associate myself with you in a close business relationship for a long period of time if you have a victim mentality.
By the way, those smell fantastic. I smell them from here. I won't lie to you.
That's the chemicals from the oven coming off. It's the first time using the oven. Like, it can't be good. It's not gonna be. Okay.
No, it's gonna be fantastic, and it smells great. Right. And we'll just benefit of the doubt that the builder went ahead and turned it on.
Yeah, maybe they already did.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
That's what we're sticking with. All right.
Yeah.
So you know, I always think there's a difference between victim and venting, right? And I think that's what you were describing, because I agree with you. You know, even the other day, so I have 3 young kids, twins, 18 months, and then a newborn. She's 4 months old. Yeah. So night times are chaotic. Okay, and tantrums and things happen on occasion. So about a week ago, I didn't sleep well at all. I slept like 3-4 hours, and my son wakes up screaming. I wake up not in a good mood, and I start complaining. I'm like, I gotta get to work. I said, babe, I gotta stay focused. Like, what's going on? We gotta figure this out. My wife looks at me and she goes, can you stop whining and just help me get him down so you can go back to bed? And I looked at her like this. And at first I was angry, and I go, oh, you're right. Like, all I gotta do is go help him out right now. Like, go grab something, and we got him down together 15 minutes later. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, even me, right? I'm sitting there playing, woe is me. I'm not gonna get sleep. You know how hard I work. And my wife just hits me between the eyes. How important is that, to have a person in your corner that can hit you between the eyes and you not take it personal? Yeah. And do you have people like that in your life?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're just telling that story. I'm pretty sure, I thought you were telling my story. So I'm like, dude, same thing. I mean, we got a 2.5-year-old and an 8-month-old. And so it's like, yeah, just woe is me. I got to do this. I got to do that. And like, this will only take 2 minutes. This will only take 5 minutes. It'll only take another 10 minutes. Like, yeah, just not being a baby, being a whiny baby about it. So yeah, my wife is very similar. Like, she'll punch me in the gut, put me there. I've got a couple other people within our company, coworkers, who will do the same thing. So obviously it's just super important, because we're all naturally going to get in that state where we want to feel bad for ourselves, we want to whine or complain about something, and the sooner someone can kick you back into gear again, the sooner you can move forward and progress and get out of that low point. I had a text message or a voice message this morning about a situation, and like, oh, you know, they're kind of feeling down, they're down on it or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it was an event, and like not enough people were showing up or registered, and I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, maybe only one person shows up, and that one person who's there is like the one that you need there. Maybe that's the one who actually converts, or the one who changes your life or your business. So like, go all out. Get it's another practice, it's another rep, just keep doing it. And so same thing, like I was that person for them of like, don't be down on yourself because you're not sure if a lot of people are going to show up. It's not about how many people show up. Make the most of it, make the best of it, and over time, like you'll end up getting some positive results.
You know, I want to talk about the kids a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But you just, you know, there's a story I've told before, and my mentor, he passed away. First person that ever helped propel me forward that I cared about that passed away. So it was really hard for me when he died. He actually died in 2017, so a year prior to your father. And I'll never forget, I had a training that I was doing. It was my first ever training. I was a leader. Started my journey at Quicken Loans back in the day. I was 23 years old, roughly. And I finally got to do a training. And they said, Jonathan, you want to do a training? I said, absolutely. It was about bunny hopping. It's how I could jump on calls super fast and I could tell you exactly what to say and I was right every time. I was like, this is gonna change the world. So I'm prepped, I'm practicing, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm talking to trainers. I've never done a training. I'm PowerPoint, I'm getting good, and I'm on Google, no ChatGPT yet. So I'm figuring it out. I'm like, I just put together the sickest training of all time. So the day comes, I'm dressed to the nines, used to have my glasses back in the day before I got LASIK, and I wake up and everything, I'm like, this is it. You look, wow, you're glorious, here it is. So all of a sudden I walk into the training. As I walk into the training, there was 3 people at the training. I look at the 3 people and I'm like, deflated. So I'm sitting there deflated, heads down, and I go through the training, and this training that I was so excited about, put on the wall, all right, thank you so much. I go back to my desk, finish the training. My mentor at the time, who knew I was doing it, runs up to me. How'd it go? I was fine. What? You were so prepared. What happened? It was fine. He says, let's talk about it. Pulls me aside. He goes, what happened? I go, Steve, only 3 people were there. And he looks at me with a look of disgust I've never seen before. It's like the look, you know, a grandparent gives, someone you love gives. And so what's going on? He goes, shame on you. He goes, because your ignorance, you're naive to think that because you're John Haddad, 1,000 people should be in a room waiting for you. And instead, the 3 people that showed up for you got the worst version of you simply because you thought you were better. How crazy is that, John? And he looked at me and he hit me hard.
That's ego.
It is ego. And he said to me, he goes, do me a favor, moving forward, your job is to impact 1 person a day. And by the time you get to my age, you can look back and look at your life and go, look how many supporters of John Haddad I have. Yeah. Because you focused on 1 person a day. You'll promise me you'll never do that again. And it's a promise I made to him. And it's a promise I have not forgotten ever since he passed. People are showing up for you, you know, like you have to give them everything that you have.
Yeah.
It's a duty that you owe to them.
Yeah. If 1 person's showing up for you, like that.
You dialed in. Yeah. You're happy as hell to see them. You walk up, you give them a hug. That person took time out of their day to see you. So what? There isn't 100 people in the room. Right. There's 1. I don't care. Yeah. So just something I wanted to share, just really in line with what you're talking about. Just talking about the kids for a moment. I think all parents want their kids to do better than them. And I know my mom and my dad, we talk about that stuff a lot with my kids. And there's certain times where we joke and certain times where I'm like, you guys screwed that up, you know, and we're joking around with them and they laugh. They know it's all in good fun. But looking back at your upbringing, and I know obviously your father, the best he absolutely could do was dialed in and focused. But what are some things that you want your kids to learn that you weren't able to learn till later on in life that you want to instill in them at an early age?
Yeah, that's tough because all the good things my dad taught me, there's still so much that I learned by myself, yes, exactly. You know, in adulthood. And I mean, even just practical things like investing and financial management, you know, I mean, growing up, we lived paycheck to paycheck. We didn't have the finances and stuff, and taught me so many good things, but a lot of things I had to learn by myself. And now what I'm gonna struggle with as a parent is like, I wanna just teach my children all these things and I want them to learn all these life lessons that I know now, but also I know I'm gonna struggle with the fact like, you know, why does my 8-year-old not have interest in learning about the time value of money? You need to know this stuff, but like, you got your $20 allowance. You made $100 selling Girl Scout cookies. Like, let's invest that money. And like, she's gonna be like, no, I just want to go buy this thing. And like, no, you're wasting all your money. Like, don't make that mistake. So it's gonna be really hard to like have patience when they're younger, that knowing like they can't learn all these things at once. And also some of them they have to learn for themselves. It's almost like, the same thing applies in business with teams, is I could tell someone something 100 times and they're like, okay, yeah, I got it, Tyler. Okay, yeah, I understand. Okay, yes, boss, yes, dad, whatever. And then they're not really listening. They're not absorbing it. And then all of a sudden someone else comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, do this thing. And they're like, that's the greatest idea ever. That's the best thing. Oh my gosh, he taught me this thing and I love it. And like, we're all guilty of that. And so with kids, it's like, if I push them too hard to try to learn or do these things that I think is the right way, they may not actually listen. So allowing them to have those life experiences, allowing them to have exposure to other great dads and great mentors and great moms and great families, they'll learn from those people. So my duty as a father is to like create that environment where they can get that positive exposure from all these other areas and not just me as the dad, because honestly, they'll probably listen to me less than anyone else.
You're so right. That's so strong. Like it's so, the patience piece too, I think is such an important, especially, I'll say for me, like as a father, there's sometimes patience runs very thin with everything else I have going on. And my wife, again, like such a true testament, my twins, my daughter, they were it was blocks, right? And they were trying to get certain blocks and the figures and making them match up. Mm-hmm. So my daughter picking up on it like right away, boom, 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 my son's not. And I'm getting frustrated that my son's not picking up. I'm like, come on, buddy, you can do it. Yeah. So like 10 minutes passes and I'm like, all right, it's okay. Like, don't worry, buddy. I was telling my wife, I'm like, he's not gonna get it. Later, like he'll figure it out. My wife goes, hold on. My wife goes in there, spends another 15, 20 minutes with him. And guess what? Figured it out. Yeah. And so I'm looking at my wife and I'm thinking like, okay, part of this is also patience, which is exactly what you're talking about. Like part of this is like, okay, kids, whether it's money or not, it's you having to talk about that every single day like clockwork, Mm-hmm. And like, this is part of who we are as a family. This is what goes on in this household. This is how you're brought up. This is how you're taught. And God willing, one day when the kids are older and someone asks them a question like I asked you about their father, it's like outside of what they learn from you, from your father, it's also the stuff that they learn from Tyler. And that to me is like the deepest meaningful thing in the world. And then God willing, you want them to teach their future kids and your future grandkids and be better than what you were able to teach them. That stuff goes so deep, and it's crazy because all this matches with what you said. You're generational. Mm-hmm. Even you throwing the baseball to your father. Yeah. It's like you're going to impact generations. So it's so weird that's been the constant reoccurring theme for you with this entire presentation, man. And it's just special.
Yeah, so I've really had a shift in the last couple of years. And I think part of that was children coming into my life was a much more long-term view. I'm focused on longevity in my health, in my business, and everything, relationships, everything I do is focused on the long term. I used to focus on, how many loans am I closing this month? I want to break my record in 2025. Oh, next year's going to be better when rates get better. And then, I'm going to make this much money this year or next year. And so shifting that focus now, like I'm doing loans today and I'm doing habits and activities and building relationships, not for 2025, but like 2026, 2027, 2028. I'm going to be able to be doing the same thing I'm doing today in 10 years from now and 20 years from now and not be upset by that. Like if I just did the same things I was doing right now for the next 10 or 20 years, I'm not going to feel like I didn't do enough. I'm not going to feel like I didn't achieve enough because the current things I'm doing are building to exactly what I want in the future.
I love that, man. It's the little habits, it's the little things and the happiness that you found. You found your pocket of happy. All right, so those are finishing up.
Let's pull them out. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I forgot to check them. Oh yeah. Whew. I think
those look perfect.
Good, huh?
Yes, sir.
They're probably a little overdone, but that's okay.
I don't know.
We need a plate. Well, we don't have any fancy plates here.
Please don't worry. Listen.
We've got paper plates.
Listen, I'm in. It's good
Can
food.
Set off
Yes, sir. Yes, chef.
Please.
All right, as you're getting those prepped, if you don't mind, before we finish this and have a bite of this, your wife, two kids, if you have a message for each of them individually, and we'll start with Kim, what would that message be? What would you want her to know for forever in time that'll always be on YouTube, it'll always be sitting inside this video? What is the message you have for her?
So my message to Kim, Kim, I'm just so eternally grateful for everything that you've done for me and, you know, this family and this life that you've helped provide. And, you know, I'm forever indebted to you. And I have this daily reminder on my task list, and it's a quote that I saw from a book, and it says, if Kim asks me to do something, that goes to the top of my list. And that's a mantra I'm trying to get better to live by, and it's tough because I have so many things I have to do, but I want you to know that I'm always trying to keep you at the top of my list. And there's hundreds of other distractions, but you're the most important thing to me and always will be. And to Riley, my beautiful girl, my firstborn, I love how smart and bright and witty you are, and seeing so much of my personality in you lights me up. It also kind of frustrates me, but Riley, you know, I want you to always challenge yourself and continue to bring so much joy to other people like you do me and your mother. And if you can bring even an ounce of that joy that you bring to us to everybody else that you meet in life, then I know that you will be proud of the life that you lived as well. And Steven, my boy, I can't wait to play catch with you in the backyard. I can't wait for all the memories together of father and son. When I look at you, I think of my relationship with you like my dad's relationship with me, and that's why we named you after him. And I can't wait to make all those memories with you and your mom and your sister. And I hope that I can be the father to you that my dad was to me. I love you all so much.
You're the man, bro. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Thanks for sharing all that. All right, here we go. Wrapping up, just the most beautiful words. This guy is an absolute unit of a human being. His consistency and the discipline, like we talked about, it just goes deeper. You can hear his why throughout this entire conversation. And so when we say words like consistency and discipline, I said it earlier, we throw those words around. And the reason I said that is because for a lot of people out there, there is real meaning to those words. And you got to hear the real meaning here first for somebody who does it at the highest level possible. And one thing he wants you to remember is he's just some guy named Tyler, just trying to figure it out one day at a time, just like the rest of us. Now it's time to take a bite, my friend.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Ooh.
Team, simple, easy, finger food to grab, healthy. What an easy way to meal prep for the week to get your morning started off right. Action-packed, my friend. Thank you so much.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Take care, team.